Buenas, en este video se estará explicando cuáles son las ventajas del service, algunas interacciones con el service en cuanto al topic, en específico con el ejemplo del talk listener y con el ejemplo del turtle sim para mover la tortuga, en el ejemplo de simulación.
/crash course on ROS2. Let's start with the problem. So let's say you have different nodes and you want an interaction that is kind of a client server. So you want a node to act as a client, so it's gonna send a request to a node with a topic. As you have seen, you send some data from one point to another point, but you don't get an answer. Okay, we can do a closed loop system, but you can't have this client server architecture with a request and a response. And so that's why we have ROS services. So let's run a few services and you will quickly understand, and then everything will make more sense. So in this terminal, I'm gonna run, so ROS2 run demo nodes cpp. Let's come back to this package, and here we have add to int server. Let's run that. So when I run it, nothing happens. You can see I press enter. The node is just waiting. So this is a node where we will have a service. Now, if I do RQT-graph, the thing is with RQT-graph, you can't see services. Okay, you can see nodes and topics, but where we will have a service. Now, if I do RQT-graph, the thing is with RQT-graph, you can't see services. Okay, you can see nodes and topics, but you can't see services. So RQT-graph will not be useful for services. But we also have ROS2 service. So we have the ROS2 topic command for topics, and we have ROS2 service for services. And you have ROS2 service list. And you can see we have add to int service. So a service will have a name, just like a topic has a name and a type, while a service will also have a name and a type. And here you have, well, you have stuff that is specific to the node add to int server. Okay, so if I do ROS2 node list, you can see we have add to int server node, and for each node you will have a set of services. But we don't really care about those. What we want is this one, add to int service. And so how to get more info about this service? Well, ROS2 service. And then you can see we have actually type. Okay, so when I press tab, I can see type and this. So you can see that the type for the service is example interfaces, SRV for service, add to int. So how can I see what's inside? ROS2 interface show. So just like we did for messages with topics, we can do ROS2 interface show for services. And let's put this, and you can see we have that. So that's a bit different. So we have something, we have int a and int b, and then we have dash dash dash, and then int sum. All right, so this here, before the 3 dashes, this is the request that you're gonna send. And after the 3 dashes, this is the response that you're gonna get. So this node add to int server contains a server, so contains a service server named add to int. Now, in order to call this service, you need to send a request that is this one, int a, int b. And after you call the server is gonna process stuff, and it's gonna return a response which contains the sum. So let's actually try this. We can do ROS2 service. So we can call a service actually from the terminal. We can create a client from the terminal. So ROS2 service call, and then the service name, add to int, and then let's press tab twice. We need to provide the type. So ROS2 service call with the name, with the type, and then if I press tab again, well, you can see we have weird stuff, but what I can do is use actually curly brackets. So let's use curly brackets here, and let's put a like that. For example, is equal to 2, and then b with 5. Okay, so you can use curly brackets, and then the field a, you can put a with quotes, colon, the value you want. Here it's an integer, so I put 2, comma, and then do that for every field. I'm going to press enter. So look what's going to happen here. I press enter here. And actually, well, actually, no, I need to do, so let's change this. Let's use double quotes from the terminal. Make sure you use that syntax. So what is the request? This. Let's try again. Let's modify. Let's put 9. The request sum is equal to 7. You can see making requests with A is equal to 2 and B is equal to 5. That's what we want. And then the response with sum is equal to 7. And actually, well, let's use double quotes around the curly brackets. So but A is equal to 2. So it was sent from another node, so I can have as many clients as I want. As an analogy, let's say you have a web server. So the web server for a specific URL, for example, we only have one. If you go to example.com, there is only one. This you some and clear. Let's run. So ROS to run turtle sim node. Okay, I have the node here. Let's actually put this on the side. And let's do ROS to service list. As you can see, we have quite a few services. So we have services that are related to the node turtle sim here, so we don't really worry about those. But then we have a bunch of services. For example, clear. So if you call clear, it's gonna clear all the traces, okay, that the pen has left on the window. Kill, you can actually kill a turtle, so you could remove this turtle. Reset, I think is gonna reset the turtle to the center. And then spawn, you could spawn another turtle, so you will have turtle 2, turtle 3, etc. And then, well, here the one we're gonna use is turtle1/setPen. Okay, so as you know, the trace that the turtle leaves is gonna be white or light gray, so that's what we call the pen. Okay, let's do the color of this. We can change with setPen. So that's an example of how to change a setting. The service server is hosted on the turtle sim node, and then interface show with that. And what do we have here? Well, we have a request with RGB, so red, green, blue, and then the width of the pen and off if you want to turn off the pen. That's the request. Then we have dash dash dash. So service, the number is good. So log and use 6100. Well, as you can see, we have the 40 just later. And one more thing is that, so let's say I kill the turtle sim here. Again, so you send some data streams, expecting an answer, just sending some data, for example, sensor data, command velocity data. This kind of data stream will be handled by topics. But when you need to make some interaction where you're gonna, for example, compute something or change a setting and you expect also an answer, then you are going to use services. All right, that's the end of this